If you do a Google image search of Iroquois and you scroll far enough down, there's a couple of images that are going to come up that I want to talk about. I want to talk about them because somebody who's trying to learn a thing or two might go looking through Google images, looking for whatever, anything interesting. They might come across these and think that these are strong evidence because they're historic photos. They might be led into some false impressions. This photo here is typically labeled Iroquois 1900. If you know a thing or two and you look at this photo, you're going to notice a couple things wrong right off the bat. Those are teepees, those are Plains headdresses, and those are Plains war shirts. So how do we explain this? Well, it's very simple. The photo was staged. It was taken at a Wild West show in 1900. It was sold as a postcard and for use in those gimmick 3D goggles. Here's another one. This one was taken at the Tricentenary pageant in 1908 in Quebec. Get some Indians to march in your parade, set them up in teepees at the edge of your town to draw in the tourists. Come one, come all, see our real live Indians. This third one's quite a bit more famous. You can find it on the Wikipedia page. This one was used in one of those panorama machines. It's again a staged photo, this time taken in Buffalo in 1914. This one's got the advantage where the people, apart from the big furs, are in their real clothes rather than generic Western Indian costumes. It should be noted that while most of the clothes are real, this is not how people would dress in the day-to-day. This is a heavily colonized people in 1914. In their day-to-day, they'd be dressing more or less like their European neighbors. You take a photo of some modern Canadians at a wedding or some other special occasion, they're all going to be in their suits. You show this to a foreigner 100 years in the future, they're going to get assumptions which don't necessarily reflect reality. Also, once again, notice the teepees in the background. I've seen some ignorant people on the internet use these three photos to argue that the Iroquois lived in teepees in the early 1900s. No, these are props put forward by event organizers and photographers because they want to create a spectacle. The general public expects Indians in teepees, and by Jove, that's what they're going to get. Nobody in their right mind is going to pay money to see Indians living in houses. Hyperreality. It ain't real, it's better than real. I got a couple points I want to make. The first is that it's very important to examine the origins of photographs. People give credence to old photos as a window into the past, but it's important to remember the origin of things. It's always been easy to lie with a camera. Second point I want to make is to restate that it's easy to mislead with a camera. Even where a photo isn't dubious, even where it isn't directly lying to you, it's easy to get a false impression. Let's take the forest in the background as an example. Is this a vast forest, or is it simply 20 feet of trees that they're using as a backdrop? What's behind the camera? Is this taken in some forest clearing, or is it taken on the outskirts of the industrial district? It's important to be skeptical of all of these things and to not make assumptions that could lead us into false conclusions.